Welcome to the channel, Rev Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. If you haven't already, subscribe. Narcissism is like a drug. So is covert emotional incest or emotional incest. Very similar in their way in which they perpetrate the health and mental health of the people that are involved in it. I think the vicious part of emotional incest is the way in which it's conceived out of the breakdown of the parental relationship. And when the parent relationship breaks down, this could happen over a course of time. One of the parents, or if not both of the parents, will turn to the child, the adult child, teenage child, as an ally against the other adult. This then initiates the emotional enmeshment, because it's not meant to work out that way for the child. It's a very selfish, evil act on the part of the parent, who should turn to proper therapy, should turn to special counsel, marriage counsel or relationship counsel. Children are not set up to be their parents' counselors. And it becomes quite depressive as a child watches the relationship between the adults deteriorate, and is usually not equipped, and is not equipped, to provide the answers to the relationship breakdown problem between the parents. If you associate drugs with this, the parents will often give the drugs to the children to help them come into the space that they need them to. So they'll participate in the alcohol and drugs and cigarettes and other destructive justifications that they have for their victim mentality, martyr mentality. They're not finding the right solutions. The solutions are there, but they're there based on integrity, transparency, honesty and the like. Drugs, alcohol, other substances, cocaine, all these wicked, life-destroying substances only blur the matter and make it worse. Now, the children have their own stresses and things to deal with, be them teenager, 20s, 30s, 40s, without having to take on the trauma and damage that's taking place inside the adult. But the adult, in its isolation or in their isolation and sense of abuse, continues to bring on their complaints and issues to the child. This can start to turn weird. It's like the end of an adult relationship. It goes really weird sexually because there's no resolve. So things get twisted. So too with emotional incest. it starts to get quite weird, because the parent becomes desperate as things remain unresolved. Because what these parents don't realise is the child is not the solution and does not have the answers. The parent just uses the child as a means to make themselves feel better, irrespective of what this does to the mentality of the child. There's no consideration at all for what they're doing to their child. They're just spilling their rubbish and garbage onto the child, who's not professionally equipped to help with the adult issues of the relationship. And mind you, these adult issues could be drug and alcohol related as well. There could be sexual problems involved. There's all sorts of different issues and matters that are way beyond the child's ability to fix. The adult child is not professionally equipped to help parents with their psychological problems, and a lot of these parents aren't equipped to help the predictable problems that are going to come out of the child due to this exposure to traumatic trouble. Child ends up becoming depressed, wanting to commit suicide, all these other things, and the parent steps in as the solution to these problems. When you think about it, the parent couldn't solve their own. So how are they going to solve those of the child? These people reject professional help for the most part. They feed on each other's victim mentality. They play into this with their substance abuse, and that only makes things worse. This then turns them towards resentment and bitterness and twistedness towards each other, and that's in its depressive state, and then they go manic and revigorate the emotional enmeshment again, whinging and complaining and being sarcastic about other people, other family members they whinge about. They feel left out, left behind, undone, can't find their way into a decent form of life. They've been completely sabotaged by their parents, these adult children. And the way into their purpose becomes like walking through a forest. All the possibilities are there, but they can't see the light through the darkness. Emotional incest is identifiable and, with the right professional help, fixable. The key word is boundaries. It was a lack of boundaries that caused this in the first place. It was the parent making the children the answer, and the children making the parent the answer, in an environment where the problem were being sought as part of the answer. And this is happening in a lot of families today. They think they have the professional answers. They're not equipped. If you look at the lifestyle of a lot of these people, they are not equipped to deal with the trauma that's going on in and around their lives. And they go one day to the next, drowning out the problems. They've got no sense of resolve. They just play into their emotional needs. and however that person feels on that particular day. And these types of people need help because they're disrupting the communities that they live in. And the people that they come across, they just disrupt their lives because they're totally irregulated. The solution to this at the end of the day is boundaries. It's just a matter of whether people, boundaries from substances, boundaries from lying, scheming, backbiting, resentment, bitterness, frustration, and all these things. These things can be solved by boundaries. Rev Dr. Morrison. Bye for now.